Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Citizen Sleeper 2. We're at a new location now. We're at the... I can't remember what they're called. our pilot's unavailable. It'll tell me on here. Oh, maybe. Scatter Yards, that's where we are. Yeah, we just arrived. Our pilot's off doing his own thing for now. But let's have a little look. So we've got the transit hub there to explore. We've got Marco's yard as well. That's our rig. What's going on in Marco's yard then? Oh, right there. It's gone off drinking. Seraphin and Marco are off in some scatter yards dive. Catching up. You hope Marco returns your pilot in working order. Fair enough. Let's go to the transit hub then. So it's just another explore, but we've got a couple of things that we're decent at doing, so that's good. A scattered mess of independent shipyards around a central transit hub. The yards are a particularly difficult place for outsiders. Follow the markers. On every wall of the hub there are scrawled alphanumeric markers that act as signs for the ship fitters, if you can understand them. Well, shop talk. There's no faster way to get to know ship fitters than to chat about their complex work. It does require a certain knowledge base, though. Well, we're an engineer, so why don't we lean into that to begin with? So that's a couple. Yeah. This is 50% chance of a neutral outcome, which we got. Okay, so we need one more. Let's put our that in, our 3. Negative. We lost cryo. Okay, don't want to lose too much of that. We're not wealthy, but we've earned some respect. We'll just voice this neutrally until we know who it is. Hey! You hear the voice echoing through the public passage. Wait up! Oh, it's Cadet. Cool. Okay. Now, Cadet was another one I'd voiced as like an Irish voice, which, as we know, we've got Nia with us now. So there's probably going to be occasions when the two are talking. But until that time, let's just continue as we did before. I'm glad to see you. Cadet sweeps her hair out of her eyes and then glances up and down the corridor. This is not my kind of station. Cadet rolls straight into her complaints. All the yards have their own watering facilities, meaning the hub here is not fit for general use. There's a couple of guest houses, but you would not believe the state of them all with all the spaces that stop here for shore leave. She shudders. You don't want to know. Hi, Cadet. Hi, yeah. She blinks at you. Are you even listening? So, get this. Cadet locks her fingers together and stretches her arms. That girl of mine I said could crack anything. She's gone. Didn't even leave a note. Ran to Darkside, maybe? Not that I'd blame her given the state of this place. She looks sideways at the grubby walls. She left her workshop empty though, so I slipped in, and that's where I've been napping. I've been doing my best all these cycles to crack that drive, but, she sighs, I'm a spindlejack, not a data scraper. Which is why I'm happy to see you. She takes a breath. Telling you, I've not spoken to anyone in a long time. She runs a hand through her hair. How about that alert they put on you? It doesn't seem to stretch too far out of the spindle, but I've been careful. She glances around, hence the not talking to anyone in ages part. Look, I'm in over my head here. Cadet looks away, annoyed at herself. How about you come down to the workshop? We put our heads together and see what we can pull out. I just know there's some nasty shit on that drive. Stuff worth getting out into the light. Cadet sets her jaw. Nasty enough for them to ruin my life over. Yeah, I'll be there. Cadet smiles for a moment, then it's gone. Alright then. The workshop's in the tech cluster, you'll see it. She sighs. Now I've got to go find some to eat that isn't dried. She turns and disappears back down the passageway. Okay, so we got some locations. I assume it's all pretty much just still in the transit hub. We have the spent drive place to eat. That's just food. Won't worry about that too much for now. We've got the fabricator bay. The engine component fabricators are for ship fitters only, so they ask for a one-time fee to dissuade casual use. So I think we probably could have come up with the engine parts here for cheaper than we got them elsewhere, but, you know, it's done now. Let's not sweat it too much. We have Cadet's workshop, but we also got yard supply, which is for fuel and supplies. The fuel's actually more expensive there than in other places, but we've got quite a lot at the moment, so I don't think we necessarily need to worry about that right now. And then there's Cadet's. So we can identify passcodes. If you can work out through guesswork and analysis what the passcodes are, you can access the drive. Or break encryption. Breaking the encryption directly takes skill, but it's the most direct route to the data. We can do either of these, really. The drive's encrypted, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we had something else to do in scatter yards. We had Yeah, crack the drive. And we also... Oh, wait for Seraphine here. Yeah, okay. Numbers somewhere else. Bait or starve the stowaway. Well, that's still kind of happening. And then the hollow's somewhere else completely. Do I want to input a 2? Probably not, on the whole. I don't think we're going to be too rushed here. I don't think we've got a hunt clock either. They kind of said we're going to be pretty well protected while we're here. Oh, let me feed the animal. Oh well, that's probably gonna come to a head soon. I think because we've got 4 supplies in, why don't we get some cryo in instead while we rest? Yeah. Ooh, decent rolls there. Okay, I didn't see how much cryo we got. I think we had 105, so what's that, about 8 cryo? That seems okay. Let's come out of here. So we'll get Seraphine back in a day. I think we spend this time trying to crack these codes. Break encryption or identify passcodes. I don't think it matters, really. We can try both. One might be worth more than the other. It doesn't tend to be the way on these, though, to be fair. That's a couple. Let's just keep doing it. Positive. Neutral. Neutral. Another positive to be nice. We're halfway anyway. There we go. So we need at least 2 more good dice in there. I guess we just go and rest again now, honestly. Seraphine's going to be back. Yeah, more cryo, I think. Fairly average rolls there. Sleeper! Seraphine's voice echoes through the ship. You in here! You glide down to the airlock, unsure of what state you're about to find your pilot in. Seraphine hops in the airlock, his arms above his head, gripping the lip of the interior door to hold himself in place. Come on, we need to talk. There's a straight-faced seriousness to Seraphine you weren't expecting, especially considering that he spent the last 2 cycles with Marco. You in trouble already? Seraphine shakes his head. I'm not messing around, just come. Seraphine leads you across the bridge, but rather than turn towards the automated shuttle bay that connects Marco's yard to the rest of the assembly, he leads you deeper into the guts of the yard itself. As he does, he begins to speak. I told Marco about Lane, about her escape, about everything. Seraphine ducks under a large pipe. He gets it. He's worked in Darkside. You trust him? I do. He looks back over his shoulder at you. And I'd hope you'd trust me by now, too. He comes to a sealed door and hammers in an entry code. Somewhere, machines start whirring. Remember in Wellspring after everything what I said? Seraphine turns to face you. About taking Lane on? Ah, exactly that. Seraphine meets your eye. The door suddenly squeals as the ancient motors kick in and drag it across its corroded tracks. It reveals a large, half-lit chamber, its farthest parts masked with layers of scaffolding and frame, so it's hard to tell where the room actually ends. At the center, in a pool of warm light, Marco floats beside a terminal screen. Sleeper! He touches his brow in a mock salute as you enter. Been busy plotting? Seraphine shoots you a look. Just hear Marco out, alright? You hear the door you entered through screech shut, and then a sudden silence descends. Sorry to drag you out there, Sleeper, but I really can't be overheard on this one. He sighs. We're close to Darkside here, and Yotsubo have ambition, shall we say, in the scatter yards. Finn told me the whole story, and I'm sorry for your troubles. He clasps his hands together. You have done well to evade Lane thus far, but you must understand, he's also been distracted. Since Hexport went up, well, Darkside has been in crisis. If the wall was the pressure shift that allowed Yotsubo to build its strength, Hexport was the breach to blow it wide open. Marco springs his hands apart. Hexport's their justification for imposing total control in the name of protection. Marco glances away into a dark corner of the room. And if my hunch is correct, it's how they will extend their reach to the scatter yards. Where's this going? Marco laughs and looks at Seraphine. Straight to business, this one. I'm done running, Sleeper. Seraphine cuts in. I hate looking over my shoulder every cycle. I hate the nightmares, the fear. I want to face this head on for better or worse. He looks away, scowling. I will not be controlled by Lane, and this is our chance to break that control. Lane is hunting you, Sleeper, which means he is not in Darkside. Marco raises an eyebrow. This is good for you. There are people in Darkside resisting Yotsubo, though. I hear it is not going well for them. If you could find them, find out what they need, there is a chance here. Marco pauses, and you get the feeling he is assessing your reaction. Taking action is a choice right now, Sleeper, but soon it will not be. Seraphine glances at Marco. Nay, if what Marco's telling me is true, let's do this on our own terms. What do we need to do? Seraphine meets your eye with conviction. Yeah, thank you, Sleeper. I know we can do this. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, Marco interrupts. I'll need some time to work this out. If you do want to go to Darkside, there is no way you can take that stolen rig. It was a big enough risk just to bring it here. He glances at Seraphine, and you get the feeling he's already been reprimanded for this. So I need you to find a way in and a way out. Marco rubs his hands together. I know it can be done. Marco turns to you. I recommend you take the next few cycles to prepare. The scatter yards are a good place to both spend and make cryo, depending on your need. And Finn? Marco puts a hand on his friend's shoulder. Try to stay cool. This will be recon only. A chance to see what's happening on Darkside and make your connections. It is not the time for grand gestures. Seraphine nods. Yeah, thank you, Marco. He glances at you. We'll keep things quiet until you're ready. You and Seraphine leave the hidden bay, the door screeching open to allow you to exit. When it seals once more, Seraphine turns to you. This is our chance to shift things, Sleeper. Let's keep our head in the game. Can we trust Marco? Seraphine sighs. I believe we can, but in case you've not noticed, we didn't have many allies this close to Darkside anyway. We need to trust Marco. We should give Marco some time. I've got a few things I want to take care of in the scatter yards, and I want to get a message to Tala. I know she'd want to hear from me before, yeah. He trails off. Well, let's just make sure we're ready. Keep your head up, Sleeper. I'll see you down on the rig. And with that, Seraphine kicks off down the passage on his way to the shuttle dock. You watch him go, unsure if you're impressed or concerned about his headstrong nature. Either way, things are in motion. The only thing you can do now is give yourself the best chance of success. Okay, well... I think we have a new location. What have we got? What have we got? Is it just Marco's yard? I don't know. Maybe it's on the... It could be on the system map. Oh, I can't even check the map right now. Okay. Let's do Cadet's Workshop. I mean, these will be 4s. It won't be amazing, but we've got a good chance of doing it in this round. Positive would do it. Nope. I'll do another one, because even if it goes negative, it won't kill us. Ooh, same with this. We probably better go and buy some food after this, though. Alright. Cadet catches your eye as you look over at her. What is that? She takes the end of the metal chopstick she'd been chewing out of her mouth. Got something? Cadet had given up already for the cycle, and while you were cracking the drive's complex encryption on her friend's workstation, she'd been floating in the middle of the small workshop, pinging bits of scrap off the shelving on the wall. Now, she spins in the air and pushes off from the ceiling, spinning as she glides so she lands perfectly behind you, leaning over the terminal screen. As she does, you hit a key, executing the final decryption process. Slick? She goes to ruffle your hair, but you don't have any. Instead, she just wobbles your head playfully. What do we got? With Cadet hanging over your shoulder, you try to concentrate on the data spooling across the screen. The first thing that catches your eye is the steady repetition of CWEXT, an identifier for Conway Extractions, the behemoth conglomerate currently waging a corporate war with Senate Stat in the inner system. Why Conway? What is this data? You stop the scroll, looking for details. Hit that thing! Cadet pokes the screen, making it wobble. You dutifully click. A comment expands in the code, a note left by someone. It mentions tests and protocols, discusses reverse engineering and carrier signals. You close it and find another. Drone latency. Another. Security bypass. One more. Kill switch. It takes a long time, you and Cadet squinting into the blue screen to build up a picture of what you're looking at. When you're done, both of you sit back, your eyes sore and your minds clogged with technical terminology. Shit, Cadet shakes her head. They were dissecting it live. She's referring to the Conway drone mine. She's referring to the Conway drone mine this stream of data was scraped from. Huge volumes of internal data, of control systems, protocols and passphrases. The kind of data you imagine was closely guarded by Conway, kept secret to allow the smooth operation of its drones. This thing, it's some kind of general or manager, right? Giving orders out to all the little drones that work for it. Cadet squints. I always thought Conway controlled its drones remotely with people, those zero latency point interfaces you hear about. From what you know, Cadet is right. Conway is known for their novel solution to the scale and logistical problems of the surrogate systems. Extraction and security drone ships piloted from light years away with proprietary comms interfaces. A drone mind, what this code is scraped from, should be a kind of distributor, a relay for the local drones that links to the closely guarded transmitter-receiver. This data suggests otherwise. It suggests an active cognitive process, far more complex than any protocol you've ever heard of. A thinking machine. Look, Cadet jabs at the screen again. Is that? She squints. You see a line in the data stream that reads simply, stop, get out, stop, get out, stop, get out, stop, get out. How did they do this? Cadet leans back. Everyone knows captured Conway drones purged themselves and everything else in the next couple... And everything else is in the couple of square clicks around them. Conway drones purge themselves and everything else is in the couple of square clicks around. I think that's grammatically wrong. Purge themselves and everything else in the couple of square clicks around them when captured. You rip the control core out of one, sure, you can disassemble it, but its system will be gone. This one was still running when they took it apart. It should have gone up like a tactical nuke the moment they started. She stops suddenly, the fate of Hexport jumping into her mind. Is that what happened? But how did they get all this and get it out on a drive? Silence fills the workshop. You look back to the screen, unsure of the answers to Cadet's questions. You feel a deep chill, one that you know has nothing to do with the temperature of the workshop. Who the hell was doing this? Cadet scans the code once more. Let's do an intuit, yeah. Positive. Well, I don't think we had a stress, but still good. You back over the data, nothing. But the absence of a trail tells you almost as much as an obvious one would. The data is scrubbed clean, not a mention of who was scraping it, and that means a professional. A professional with access to tools and protocols way beyond what you'd usually see in the Starward Belt. An outsider, then. Which outsider would benefit most from knowing the control protocols of Conway drones? Who would risk an entire belt station to find them? It's the simplest answer. Occam's razor. Senate Stat did this. You say it out loud and it sounds right. Yeah, that'd be my first guess too. Cadet yawns. But it's still a guess. We've been at this too long. She sighs. I'm cooked. She pushes away from the terminal and floats in the room, stretching out her aching back. We know they had this drone mined on Hexport. That's where they were cutting it, scraping it. We know something happened and Hexport went up. She sketches her thoughts out in the air with hand gestures as she summarizes. The data got out in that drive. I'm assuming before the explosion, then got to the far spindle. Someone tried to curry it using me, but the receiver wasn't there. She turns back and looks at you. Which is when they ruined my life and my job trying to get it back. This data's valuable. Oh, well, that's for sure. Imagine taking control of all those drones, turning them away or towards any target you wanted. She floats over to the drive and picks it up. This thing is the only way to buy my life back. Cadet frowns at it. The way I see it, we have to expose those fools so they leave me be, or give them the data so they piss off forever. We can't give them this. Not if we don't know who they are. She laughs half-heartedly, but yeah, we can't. All the roads lead in one direction, I'm afraid. She spins the drive in the air. Back home. Export. If there's anything to confirm or deny this data, if there's anything to connect it to, if there's anything left at all, it'll be in the remains of the station. I had a feeling it might come to this. I'd made some inquiries when I first got here. The word is that the place is irradiated to hell, but I've also heard that the radiation is fading, and it's not like half the belt isn't glowing anyway. She shrugs grimly. With suits, we'd have maybe a few cycles before it started to leak through. The problem is getting in. She puts the drive back on the desk's magnetic surface. Fire spindle is a no. Not only do I not want to get picked up there, but the debris is denser on that side. No safe way in. Dark side is the best bet. She shakes her head. But I heard you have some trouble waiting for you there. What if I deal with the trouble? Yeah, then we'd have a clear shot at it. She shrugs. Easier said than done. This place has one hell of a stowaway spot, shielded from everything. Plus the scatteryard is in no one's territory. I'm gonna leave the drive here. She squints at you. No peeking. But me, I want to keep moving, so I was thinking, I could make myself useful till you shake that trouble in Darkside. She smiles. Work for room and board and all that. You want to come with me? Yeah? She smiles. Professionally speaking. What do you say? You know I'm tough and I can do plenty beside ride an airbike. Sure, you're in. That's the answer I was looking for. Cadet scans the workshop. I've had enough of space at bathrooms for a lifetime. I'll make myself at home on your rig. She picks up the drive and tucks it in her pocket. Cadet glances away at the racks on the wall and you follow her eyes to spot her airbike where it's hanging. Carefully secured and pristinely kept. Cadet gives you a hard look. You better have room for my bike. And we do. So actually, what is Cadet's specialties then? She is decent at engage and engineering. So that's a slightly different mix to some of the others. That's interesting. As we know, we're not good at engage, so that's quite a nice thing to add. I've got no dice, so we'll probably rest. I should buy some food though. There we go, full up. Om nom nom. I guess we rest. Do we want cryo? Probably. We got a decent amount then. Well, 13. So that's all right. That's a shift in a job's worth. So we're still waiting for Marco's yard thing. Still don't have our pilot. So I guess I just put in a couple of shifts. I mean, not there. That's just buying fuel and supplies. Buying food. There isn't really anything for me to do, is there? Unless, oh, there's a place up here. Suryar's yard, infamous shipfitter yard. Surya watches his yard carefully, keeping an eye on all the work that goes on there. He's not easily impressed. It does have engineering work, so that's good. So let's get some of that done. 12 cryo, plus 1 Surya's team. Okay, so we're kind of earning our way into his good graces. Nice. Okay, well, I'm not going to put the ones in there for fairly obvious reasons, but that's good that we've got that. Can I scroll further down here? No. So that's just the 2 places. All right, I think we rest up. We're not in any particular hurry here anyway, so that seems fine. The cryo's not looking too bad. Maybe we'll get that other supply filled up. Seraphin. You find Seraphin and Marco waiting for you in the hidden room where you met before. They're chatting quietly, their shadows cast across the scaffolding by a small lamp. Sleeper, Marco's got something good. He nods to Marco. Tell him. Marco gives you a nod as you look at him, his mood quiet, conspiratorial. I don't know if it's as good as Finn thinks, but it is an opening. I heard back from a friend of mine who runs a yard on the edge of the cluster, a fair way out from here. Smart guy. He makes a tidy profit of selling fuel to freight crews on their way into dockside. He undercuts the dockside dockyard fuel prices, which includes a cut for Yotsubo, so they stop off at his place to fill up before heading in. Marco smiles. Clearly this is his kind of business. This guy, he owes me a favor, and I'm going to call it in. He can get a few of us onto a freight crew, swap us out from the usuals who'll stay at his place and let him have a few drinks on him. The crew, meaning us, will deliver the freight, complete with a stopover for cargo loading in dockside. He smiles. Which is when you do what you need to do. We'll have as long as we need, but the more time we spend there, the more likely they'll discover us. Marco looks at you. Yeah, we'll keep our heads down, sleep and eat on the freighter. Then, once we're done and the freighter's loaded, we take it out again. Return to my friend's yard and swap the crews back. He shrugs, emphasizing the simplicity of the plan. No one will ever know we were there. See, it's good. Seraphin nods. It'll work, right? What if they check the crew list? What, on the manifest? Yeah, not gonna happen. And who's to say you want the names on that list? This is the belt. Seraphine looks concerned. Oh, it's gonna be tight, but I reckon we can get what you need in time. Make some connections with whoever is resisting Yotsubo. Get an idea of their operation. Look for weaknesses. You'll have to be quiet, Finn. Marco gives you both a warning look. No noise, no attention. This can quickly become a one-way ticket. Seraphine turns to you. I think you can handle that. Yeah, we'll get it done. Seraphine and Marco exchange concerned glances. What aren't they telling you? Yeah, there's one more thing, Sleeper. Seraphine looks down. Someone needs to stay with the rig. Someone who can pilot it if there's any attention in the yard. He meets your eye. It has to be like this, I'm sorry. I'll be going in with you. Marco puts a reassuring hand on your shoulder. I know, Darkseid. I will guide you all the way in and all the way out. There'll be room for one more on the crew. I'll leave you who that is up to you. But let me give you some advice. He leans in closer. You'd better be sure you really trust anybody you take on this one. You look between the two of them. Just you and Marco might be the safer option. The fewer people, the less likely it is you don't give yourselves away. But then if Marco doesn't keep up his end of the bargain, you'll want all the backup you can get. The other problem is that we have to go right away. You see the tension rising in Marco's face. The freight is arriving this cycle. Seraphine turns to you. I'm sorry I can't come, Sleeper, but we need to do this now. Doesn't seem like I've got a choice. Seraphine shakes his head. I didn't think you do. I'll be ready whenever you need. Just give me the word and we'll head out to my friend's yard. Marco sighs. We keep this tight and nothing needs to go wrong. His words echo in your mind as you leave the hidden room. A creeping doubt settling itself in the pit of your stomach. This is it. Time to go back to Darkseid. Alright. In terms of who we trust, probably Junie the most. Potentially Bliss, I don't know. I'm not sure. But before we go, I think I'd just try and do a few shifts here. And, you know, because we'll be rolling new dice on the contract. We just won't have time to rest before we go out. So his team. So what's happening here? I guess we'll just voice neutrally until I know what the guy looks like. There's some quality work you've been doing. The voice booms through the locker room after your shipfitter shift. But why are you doing grum work, Sleeper? Surya. I don't think he's from the first game. I could be wrong. But I don't think he is. You turn to see a large man with a metal arm and bright patterned clothes. You spent enough time here to immediately know this is Surya, the owner of the yard and well-known shipfitter. We'll go Brummy on this one. Will? Surya wipes his one metallic hand on a cloth, polishing its painted surface. What do you got to say for yourself? I needed the chits. Is that so? Surya nods slowly. I know a lot about what happens in the scatteryard, Sleeper. And what I don't know, people tell me. He smiles proudly. And I know you've got a ship. Someone who has a ship, especially a ship like yours, should not be lugging around my workers' tools. Surya flexes his artificial arm, inspecting it. That, to a person like me, is a waste. Ships cost cryo to run. True. All the more reason to really use them, though, isn't it? I went to take a look at your ship, Sleeper. Surya goes back to working on the hand. Call it professional curiosity. It's a bit drab. Surya looks up and meets your eye. An old Solarm rig still in corporate colours. He shakes his head. No. I feel like that's your problem. People want a crew that looks the part. An outfit with an outfit. He grins. Look at my yard. I grew it from a chunk of scrap by showing people I was professional. I had standards. I made Surya's yard recognisable. Your problem is you are working as a shipfitter's mate when you should be imagining much more for yourself and your crew. Surya smiles. So that got me thinking. I want to help you. Clean up that old rig, paint it up, give it some colour. He tucks the cloth away in his tool belt. How does that sound? I'd love that. Perfect. Surya booms. The thing is, you don't just slap some paint on an old rig like that. And for this to work, we need its look to reflect your crew, your style. So while I'm happy to do the painting with my team, I'll need you to go find some inspiration. Surya looks away towards the locker room's lone window. Luckily the belt is full of it. Full of pattern and texture and style. There's nothing uniform about this place, and it's the better for it. Surya looks back at you. You need to go there, find some views, some sights, and make your own designs. Here, he proudly pulls a small slate from his tool bag. There's a 64 colour screen. I fixed it up myself. You take and inspect the slate, made from mismatched pieces, but elegantly so. See what you find to inspire you. He smiles. Then come see me again. Where should I go? Yeah, full spindle would be a good place to start. Colourful, bright places, I think. Our rig is drab enough. I can see what you're thinking. You're thinking, what's in it for me financially? Sir, you eyes you carefully. How does this make you any chits? Well, that's the other part of the proposal. While you take this voyage around the belt, you could do something for me and get paid for it. Free of charge. I'll paint your rig with the look and name of my yard here. Sawyer's Yard. Commands respect. He nods sagely. You take that name to the rest of the belt, represent it, and on your travels, spread it to other crews. For this, I'll pay you 300 cryo. It's mutually beneficial. You'll earn better doing this than any yard work, and I'll get increased custom. What's not to like? We're going to be advertising him. Sawyer awaits your response, but you feel his expectant eyes on you. Yeah, it's a deal. We could use the money. Wonderful. Sawyer beams. I'll send my team over immediately. By the time you return to your rig, they should be done. He reaches into his work pouch. Here, 150 cryo now. He takes out a handful of high-value chits. Another 150 when you return with those designs. Sure. You take the cryo. Of course, I'll give you the other half on your return with those designs. He smiles apologetically. I need to be sure you don't repay the ship before your pilgrimage is done. It's only fair. Keep the slate. He waves an arm at you to put it away. Go find inspiration. Bring me those designs. I don't want to see you back in this shipyard. You need to be out there. Surya smiles. It was a pleasure. Before you can say anything else, he's gone. Time to find out what his crew have done to your rig. Yeah, okay, well, we won't do that now. I guess we should go and see what he's done to our ship. Is that it? Yeah, he's done stuff to it, hasn't he? Our pilot probably won't be happy. But I've run out of work now, so I guess we just go. We got supplies. We probably don't need the fuel. Have a look at the map. So, yeah, it's 3 fuel away. Marco has a friend who will get you and your crew onto a freighter headed for Darkside. Once you're there, you can investigate Yutsobo and find a weakness. Let's do it. So we have Marco. He's engaged in Intuit. Nothing particularly special there, though. I think take Junie, because she's got the plus in the interface thing. Could be useful. Or Cadet has the engage. Engage and endure could be useful. But then I trust. He said take someone you trust. And I guess I trust Junie more than anyone else there. So let's go. The freighter hangs over the ragged shipyard as the rig idles in the dock. Your eyes trace the fuel lines snaking up to its underside where they disappear into the dark. The chirp from the pilot's console breaks the silence. Marco's signal. This is it, Sleeper. Seraphin settles back from the controls of the rig. He looks over his shoulder at you. You better get going. This goes wrong, I'm blaming you. I'd expect nothing less. Seraphin smirks. You glide towards the back of the cockpit. Seraphin clears his throat. Just didn't do anything reckless, alright? As you float down the corridor towards the airlock, Marco comes to meet you, his usual gear swapped out for a plain set of overalls that you imagine are borrowed from the freighter crew. You ready to go, Sleeper? The crew we're replacing are already in the yard, so the sooner we get on board, the better. He gives you a look. How are you feeling? Concerned. Fair, but no need to be. This is the simple part. He pats you on the shoulder as you cross into the airlock. The airlock cycles and Marco leads you into the yard through a series of shadowy passages that connect the 2 docking bridges. Now's the time, Sleeper, Marco says as you work your way through the yard. Any questions, any concerns? Speak up now. What we do when we get there? Marco shrugs. It's mostly up to you, but if it were up to me, I'd say we ask some very soft questions. Try to find where those organizing against Yutsubo might be meeting. You reach a vertical tunnel and start ascending. Although we could also focus on just checking out Yutsubo themselves, see what they know and what they're up to. You come out at the entrance to the other docking tunnel, the freighter filling the viewing window, so all you can see are the plates of its scratched hull. Junie is waiting by the docking bridge, looking sheepish in a set of crew overalls with rolled legs and sleeves. Sleeper, is this really necessary? We're being discreet. Why aren't you wearing any then? Junie shakes her head and pats down her sides. These things don't even have close to enough pockets. Where am I supposed to keep my gear? Sorry to interrupt, but we need to go. Marco gestures to the docking bridge. You hit the button to open the doors and glide towards the freighter's airlock. As you do, the fear settles in. You're going back to Darkside. Darkside sprawls out across the starscape, its surface a vast and random accumulation of structures, lights, and signs. You've watched it as the freighter cut across the belt, as it grew, cycle by cycle, like a stain across the cockpit glass. Watching it approach, the fragmented memories of your time there pass through your mind, each one dissolving the moment you try and focus on it. Only the sensations remain: despair, claustrophobia, fear, all somehow strengthened by their disconnected nature. It's as if, by not being attached to specific memories, they can run free through your mind, as alive as they were in the first moment of feeling. Instruction received. Appreciate it. Marco is in the pilot seat talking to the port authority. Incoming to strut 23. He turns back to you, clicking off the outgoing comms channel. First step complete. We've got docking approval as expected. He raises his eyebrows, noticing something in your face. Keep it together, all right? I've got this. Don't get ahead of yourself. He shrugs. Fine, stew all you want. It won't help us if things do go south. I get it. Junie's voice carries across the cockpit, catching your attention. This place comes with a lot of baggage, right? She nods. I can understand that. But you aren't here alone, not this time. Junie gives you a serious look. We'll look out for you. There's a hollow rumble through the body of the freighter as Marco brings it into the dock. The noises of this draftier, more industrial ship differ to those of your rig, and you haven't quite got used to them yet. A squawk of noise over the comm sends Marco scrabbling at the controls to submit the docking code he was sent just moments before. There is an agonizing wait, and then a chirp as the code is accepted. Freighter is docked. All right, let me go out first. Talk to the dockers, start the unloading. He unclips from his seat, and then you're good to go. Alright, I'll wait. Marco nods. Alright, hold fast. And he glides out of the cockpit without waiting for a response. You hold your nerve, looking out at the flickering lights and distant traffic. The airlock clunks open and closed again. Time drags on. You turn your attention to the job ahead, seeing it stretched out in front of you. Darkside seems impossibly vast, too vast to find a specific person, but just to find a type of person, someone unhappy with Yotsubo's gains, ready to risk their life to change this place and push to the point of desperation or anger, that might be a lot more doable. But first, you must understand Yotsubo, see how they run this place, where they meet, what they talk about, find where Yotsubo is weakest, where they can be broken, and think about the pressure that might be applied not just by you, but by all of Darkside. You hear a tapping in the corner and see Junie with her deck out on her lap, fingers dancing over the keys. She looks hard at work, focused. What are you working on? Me? Oh. Junie reflexively shuts off the screen as if it was showing something illicit. Nothing, just a project of mine, sorry. She pauses, sighs, and turns the deck back on, rotating its clip-on screen to face you. She hits a large key, and a four-legged shape appears, drawn in simple lines, its tail twitching as it sits. It helps me relax. She glances at the screen, coding its behaviors. You watch as the cat lifts a paw and bats at a handful of pixels. A fly? Junie switches the deck off again. I'll stay focused on the job, won't happen again. She looks down, clearly embarrassed. It's cute. She laughs a little. Yeah, I guess it is. The airlock cycles once more, and moments later Marco is in the cockpit, sweat beading on his brow. He takes a moment, his mood uncharacteristically flustered. Well, I bent the truth a little back there, but I think we're good. He runs a hand over his hair, sticking it back into place. Luckily, I've had a lot of practice lying to dock workers. Dock workers? He gives you a wink. They'll begin unloading later this cycle, and they won't be in a rush. He smiles. We have our time, as promised. But the sudden interjection evaporates any relief you were feeling. Yotsubo watching these docks, that I know for sure. For now, we're just another freighter, but our coming and going, that could be a problem. He turns to you. We can try to disable their monitoring or just get the job done before it becomes an issue. I'll take a look. Marco nods. I'm sure you will. Either way, we need to get on with what we're doing. Marco folds his arms. Yotsubo are everywhere, but we need to understand them to know what is happening inside their organization. We can slip under their skin and find out how they work. Marco looks to you. This is what I recommend. But now, Sleeper, it is your turn to lead. He folds his arms. Tell us where to begin. You feel the attention, the pressure shift to you. Time to find some allies. Time to find Yotsubo's weakness. Time to stop running and resist. Okay, so this goes up 1 per cycle. Yutsubo hunting us down. We've got... Ooh, okay, there's a couple of things here. This one is the Rise, residential towers. This is track enforcers, hack their comms. So this is finding out where Yutsubo meets. Alright. And we have dock surveillance. With Yutsubo monitoring the docks, there's only a certain amount of time before they find you unless you blind them. Maybe that's worth doing. That'd be my dice. Washgate. The dock at Washgate is under Yutsubo control, making it a solid place to start when trying to infiltrate their operations. Okay. Junie would probably be relatively good at eavesdropping here. Oh. I'm sure I trust the 3. Yeah, I'm going to use my engineering stuff to get some positive results here, I think. It's a big clock, though. It'll give us more time. Let me put this in. Hopefully we get a positive result. It is a coin flip on this, though. Neutral. That's pretty bad for our stress, actually. And then there's Marco. What do we do with Marco? Is the other one dangerous or risky? Both dangerous. Alright, let's try it. Positive. Nice. Okay. We got 2-1s. I'm not particularly minded to push that, so I think we rest. All my dice are damaged now. 2 of them on the verge of breaking. Them's the brakes, I suppose. I'm gonna keep going on this. Should be enough to blind them, though. The system collapses with a screech of white noise. Yutsubo are blind to what goes on in the Washgate docks now. Oh, I was kind of hoping that... Alright. I was hoping that clock would end, but... I guess not. Could try eavesdropping. Okay, done. We hit the Docker's Rest. So I'm pretty good at checks here. Junie's not bad at maybe get her on extracting a Sci-Fi. Hope for the best. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to put my 1s in. Try 3. He got a stress. I think that's okay. I mean, fine. He's got quite a low stress meter. Keep an eye on that. do I push? That's the question I made. If I push, it ones or twos are going to break unless I get a positive result. I mean, okay, let's why don't we take the risk? I'll put it in this risky one. Positive, positive. Yay! So we lose that stress we gained. So that was a good result. I'm not going to use that last one though. Interested to see if this goes up. Just actually no, it's lost the cycle uptick thing is what it's lost. So we could still raise suspicion, but it's not going to happen automatically per cycle. So that was a good result. Take the stress off slightly. I think we're going to get some broken dice on this mission. Marco is pretty much a non-factor in this bit. So, but we got guaranteed positive stuff here, so that's good. Actually, let me keep the 6 out. Let's do the 5. And I'm going to put in Junie's 3. Good. Okay. You leave Docker's Rest with a Tsubo passkey in hand, sure to get you inside one of their safe houses. Now the trick is to find one. You make your way through the docks, head down in the dark passageways. Sleeper? Junie's voice cuts through the hiss of the air cyclers. Marco's gone. You stop in the dark side passageway you were drifting down, a quiet connection between two thoroughfares. You glance around at the loose bundles of wires and stained metal plates. It seemed like a safe place to talk. He just left. Junie looks nervously down at her feet. He said he had something he wanted to do and left. That was it. You pause for a moment, unsure how to react. What's going on? Junie rubs her hands together. I don't know, Sleeper. I really don't know, Marco. I thought you and Seraphim... She trails off. This isn't good, is it? You take a moment. No need to panic. Marco brought you here. He'll get you out. You look down the corridor towards a busier, wider passage where people drift by. If he needed to deal with something, then, well... He needed to deal with something. It doesn't mean anything. He sure as hell wish he'd given you a warning. Surveilled and now short-handed. This job is going from bad to worse. So we're done here. Straight on here now. They're both dangerous. Marco's gone. He had rubbish dice anyway. So we'll put Junie's 6 in there. A couple of guaranteed good results anyway. Now, do I risk putting in... That would be a 4, got to a 5, it'd be a dice, it'd be a coin flip. No, I don't think we do. I'm probably going to break dice on this cycle anyway. There's 3 in... Yeah, oh well. We've got the means we need to fix them when we get back off the contract, but I suspect we're going to lose a die here. Oh, we didn't. Good. By taking that extra stress, we would have done. So that's sort of where that risk-reward ratio comes in. And Junie's only got a 3. So let me try my automatic rolls. Automatic successes, I mean. Let's try her 3. Actually, let's not. Instead, let's push my die. Because now that is an automatic success, so I'll lose that stress anyway, and we just get through using my lowest dice. That seems good. New location at Tsubo entry. Yes, a simple door leads down into what you suspect is a Yotsubo safe house. All you need is the passkey cipher, which we have now. Let's go in. You use the passkey and the bolt thunks open. Time to go inside. The unmarked door slides open as you use the cipher. Beyond it, a dark tunnel descends, its roof a mess of bundled tubes and wires. Entering, you see a flickering light at its far end and hear the soft echo of raised voices. Junie gives you a gentle nod. Let's go listen in. She glances over her shoulder nervously. You drift down the tunnel, keeping your limbs clear of the sides. Your passage through the air silent and gentle. You focus on the flickering light, the sound of the voices growing ever louder. As you descend through the tunnel, you notice a small dark doorway leading off before the tunnel reaches the bottom. You slow yourself gently, fingertips grazing the metal walls on either side. Glancing through, you see the doorway leads out onto a framework balcony, high on the wall of some dark room. You glance down to the bottom of the tunnel and hear the voices rising in volume. "Sleeper!" Junie hisses from behind you. "The balcony!" You come out onto the balcony overlooking a dark, cavernous room, lit in patches with a bright area at the far end. It is filled with people, Yotsubo enforcers and members all facing forward, their floating bodies silhouetted by the pool of bright light ahead. And in that bright pool, two figures are arguing. You come to the edge of the balcony, a feeling of safety granted to you by both your elevation and the cover of darkness. Below, the entire room has its attention focused on the two figures in the pool of light, the watching audience keeping to the dark perimeter as if they were observing a piece of theatre. You feel Junie arrive beside you, her attention, like yours, on the scene below.
Oren. These are my territories. You need to withdraw.
One figure, their features hard to define in the pool of light, gestures at the other.
There is no discussion to be had.
And this is... Daishi? Vicious Yotsubo Warden, okay. The other figure laughs.
Oh, you're pathetic, Oren. The wash gate is a joke like you.
He turns to the crowd and you see dark hair, dark eyes, and a smile like a slit. The dark-haired figure addresses the gathered crowd.
Oren makes nothing from the wash gate. All that freight and he lets it slip by while he soaks up bribes.
Jeering echoes around the crowd.
He is stealing from you all.
Daichi, you piece of shit.
Oren spits, a glinting orb zipping past the other man.
You have no respect.
A few of the crowd enter the light, gathering behind one figure or the other.
Barely more than an enforcer and already dictating terms. If you had any idea what was happening in the passages, you know we've been facing sabotage and resistance across the wash gate.
Oren shakes his head.
Yotsubo's control is under question.
Sabotage and resistance. You quietly log the remark in your mind. Those are the people you have to find. Daichi smirks in response. Okay, so unfortunately, I paused the recording because there was something happening here, and I think I must have forgotten to restart it, which is a shame. There was a bit more discussion there. I'll try to summarize. Basically, Marco looks like he'd been captured or had given us up. They kind of brought him into the meeting and they made it clear that he'd told them there was a sleeper at the wash gate, which is where our freighter is. So they were like, yay, we can give that to Lane and we'll get rewards. But there was also another character from the first game who was introduced, which was Ankita, who was a sort of a mercenary ship captain who we helped repair her ship in the first game, and it was quite a good story actually. But she seems to be working for Yotsubo, the cartel. So that's where we are. We can't return home to our freighter. Our supplies have been taken away because they're on the freighter. Junie has got us into an abandoned unit. We can rest there. We don't have any supplies. We can go to Flicker Row and steal supplies. But it's engage checks, and both ourselves and Junie are absolute rubbish at that. So it's going to be interesting. We're on the verge of breaking some dice if we roll ones. If we get negative checks on these, and this is going to be a 2. So yeah, we're in a bit of a pickle heading into the next episode. So sorry, missing the rest of that cutscene. I've kind of summed up what happened. Basically, Marco seems to have betrayed us. We need to find another way off of Darkside. At the moment, we're just kind of laying low and trying to steal supplies. Anyway, we're going to come back next time and hopefully get a way out of this mess. Hopefully you've enjoyed this as well. Let me know your thoughts on the episode. Again, sorry for missing a bit of that last cutscene. Essentially, because this auto saves in only one slot, it's basically an Iron Man save. So if something like that happens, I literally can't go back to film it again. It's impossible, unfortunately. So sorry about that. But, let me know in the comments your thoughts on the episode as a whole. And, if you're watching this and haven't yet subscribed to the channel, if you could do that, that'd be great. In the meantime, I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.